Commercial real estate is as varied as a teenager's mood. While we deal in three specific asset classes, industrial, office, and retail, each has subcategories that create variations. A region mall is different than a Mimi's Cafe, and your doctor's office contains different amenities than where your CPA resides. There are three main categories of industrial buildings: manufacturing, logistics, warehouses, and flex. So, how do you know what category appeals to the general genre of an industrial occupant? Well, continue reading and we'll draw the distinctions for you. Manufacturing buildings. Manufacturing buildings are locations generally constructed of concrete block, or metal, where products are made, stored, and shipped. The raw materials of the manufacturing process are generally stored on site, many times in an outside storage yard, so as not to poach inside floor space, as well as the machinery that makes the products and the employees that operate the machinery and support the manufacturing process. These buildings can be freestanding or parts of a larger building, but typically have greater power feeds into the building, 10 to 30% of the total square footage in office space. Ground level loading doors versus truck high loading doors. Some may have both. Fenced outside storage areas and a warehouse clearance of 14 to 24 feet under a beam in the warehouse plan area. Because these locations have more office space typically, they also have more parking spaces, a minimum of two parking spaces per 1,000 square feet of building. Manufacturers can generally operate in a building with lower ceiling height because their plant is consumed with machinery and raw materials versus finished goods waiting to be shipped. Most products are made and delivered within days, so as not to inventory a large amount of finished goods. A distribution warehouse, as described below, will typically not fit a manufacturing requirement. However, some distributors may be able to occupy a manufacturing building, especially if the building is equipped with ground level and truck high loading. Logistics warehouses. Logistics buildings, formerly referred to as distribution warehouse buildings, are generally made of concrete because of wall height. Products are staged, stored, and shipped from within their walls. Typically, no manufacturing or assembly is done on site. Consequently, fewer support staff and no raw materials are housed at the location. Logistics buildings require truck high loading, warehouse clearance of a minimum of 24 feet, and truck turning radiuses of 130 feet or more. The ideal setup is a rectangular building with cross-dock loading so that the points from the stored goods to the loading doors is minimized. Because these buildings typically house fewer employees, the premium on office space and parking is lessened. These buildings normally have a parking ratio of one parking space per 1,000 square foot of building. Flex or flexible. The personal computer boom of the early mid-1980s gave birth to a new industry and consequently a new type of industrial building. Flex building, formerly referred to as research and development building. Since computer companies employed a large number of skilled workers, the typical industrial building didn't contain enough office space or enough parking for additional office to be added. Developers of R&D buildings created the mezzanine second story, which enabled a smaller lot to accommodate a larger building. The Silicon Valley in Northern California and the Irvine Spectrum in Irvine are populated with flex buildings. These buildings are locations generally made of concrete and glass because they're modern and occupied by a high technology manufacturing or assembly group and a large employee count: engineering, accounting, purchasing, sales support, customer service, etc. Parking, power, and office percentage and layout are the important features with these buildings. These structures are typically parked with 3 or 4 spaces per 1,000 square feet of building, and it sometimes can accommodate a use that requires 100% office. Less important are loading, clear height in the warehouse, and outside yard storage. But alas, our world is built on exceptions, true with locations as well. You may have some characteristics of all of the above in your location, and it functions just fine. The above are true in the classic definition of the building types. If you're in need of an experienced commercial real estate broker to help you sort through things, I can be reached at 281-222-0433. Appreciate your time and have a good day.